understand that. I mean, you're just going up the road, you shoot a picture here, next thing you're somewhere else, you just shoot a picture there, and the next thing you're someplace else and you shoot a picture there. So I hope that you aren't expecting tonight a professional show, because if that's what you're expecting, you'll be disappointed. But you will see some of our people. Now, there are 8 of us from the church, along with others from elsewhere. And there were a total of 35, counting the bus driver, 34 of us plus the bus driver. And the 8 of us from the church were the 2 Willets and the 2 McKinneys, that's 4, and Virginia Huntley, and Brother Bruce over here, Brother Bruce Henser, that's 6, and Margaret and myself, of course, made the 8. And so we'll see tonight, we'll just take you on this trip and give you a little round. Then we're going to show you, somebody can turn these off up here, these lights, if you know where they are. And then we'll have the video, which the video lasts maybe 8 or 9 minutes, and just little excerpts from it. We have the whole 2-hour program at home of that Monday morning, September the 23rd. But Margaret tried to excerpt just, along this sort of, that you just see the glimpses of our people and so forth, and you will see that. And any of you that went on the trip, you got anything you want to interject at any time, why, speak out. Or if any of you got any questions you want to ask or anything like that, well, then you speak out. And so this is, I say, not a professional showing by any means. And I hope, though, that you enjoy what you see. Yeah, well, you are here's Margaret's album up here, and she's got a lot of good pictures in that, and you will enjoy that. Now, listen, I'm running this show tonight. All right, now, okay. All right, now, we started off over at Westgate, and then we came out to Black Mountain and picked up some of our other folks out here at Black Mountain. And I didn't even think to take a picture of Westgate or out here. It never crossed my mind, because that's Margaret's job always. But here's where we're on Interstate 77. We've gone down Interstate 40 to Statesville. We're going north on 77, and then we come to the roadblock, and all this backup of traffic. And we learned that a man who was operating a mower, was on this side of the road, right here, operating a mowing machine, had been hit and killed. And this a little farther up the road there. And so we must have sat here for about 1 hour, just waiting and waiting and waiting, of course, until we can go. All right, now this is somewhere up the way, and you see our folks here. You see Bruce and Brother McKinney and his wife, and the 2 Willets right there, and Virginia there, and Margaret there. So that's 7 of the 8 of us, and that's our bus driver, and I'm not exactly whoever that was. All right, now we stopped up at the Golden Corral in Virginia, and you see what he likes to do there. I think you recognize that fella. Boy, that was a good place to eat. Now let me tell you, that Golden Corral, and it's all you want to eat for one price, and so it was a good meal. All right, this is after the lunch. That's the building of the Golden Corral. And I believe 3 of those folks are from West Asheville. These 3 right here are West Asheville people. This lady is from Gaseous Creek. That was her roommate, and that was her brother that died last week down there in Marshall in that wreck that I mentioned about on Wednesday night. Okay. All right, now I think that's just before we pulled out there from the Golden Corral. You recognize Jacob there. It's been here a time or 2. You recognize Jonathan that was here the other night, and those 3 people are West Asheville people. I really don't know what this was. If this was, this wasn't where the accident happened, because see, we're already way up in Virginia, and I don't remember. I don't know why I shot it. I just, sometimes you just take pictures and you forget and all like that, and so. Okay, Brother Bruce, I'm glad you remembered. I didn't remember. So another accident, and way up the road, and you see, of course, the patrol car, and this is, of course, taken out the window. All right, this was a rest stop along the way, and so there's our bus, says Runyon on it, and then you see just various ones. You might be able to pick out somebody from the church. Now I think you know those 2 people right there, and that lady right there, and you recognize them, and I believe that's the only ones I see there from the church here. All right, this was on Saturday morning. Then we'd spent the night up in the edge of Baltimore, Maryland, and at the Best Western Motel, and very nice place. And there you see Virginia Huntley, I believe.
Doesn't it say in the Bible about one man to 7 women in the like day?
Yeah. Well, over in the book of Isaiah it says, in that day 7 women shall be after one man. That's the fourth chapter of Isaiah, I think, in the first verse. So let me see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boy, that fulfills the Bible. That's right. There it was. All right. Now you recognize Brother Bruce there, and Margaret and me. This is a fellow Silvers from the West Asheville Baptist Church. And again, that's at the motel just shortly before we pulled out. Now, this must be about ready to load up and leave. That's what I'm thinking. And I don't know what she's doing there, scratching for something, you know. Oh, you're holding the bag there. Oh, yeah, you're hunting something up here, you know, whatever. All right. I think this is Philadelphia. We made a little side excursion into Philadelphia to see the Liberty Bell and so forth, which you'll see in a minute. That's the City Hall, just straight down the avenue there, Philadelphia, and you can see some of the skyline. I think this is when we maybe unloaded off the bus or maybe getting back on one of the other. I think it's when we first got off, pulled up to park here, to go across the street right here to see the Liberty Bell. Now right there's Brother Bruce and, well, maybe you saw others. This sign calls attention to the fact about the no weapons. You can see there, no weapons, including pocket knives. I mean, security was very tight in these places. Even going into Good Morning America on Monday morning, I even had to take off my belt. You got to lay everything out of your pockets, you know. And other fellows had to do the same thing. And this is at the Liberty Bell now. We're going to line up here, go through security to see the Liberty Bell. All right, we've already gone through the security, and now we're in the line to get in. You see one of the guards that works there, a very friendly young fella. You recognize, of course, these people right here in our church people. And so you go down along that cord there, down a little ways there to get inside to the Liberty Bell. Now there is the famed Liberty Bell. Right there is the crack, as you can see. And that bell hangs there, and of course it's guarded, heavily guarded, because there's that's a valuable piece of property to the United States. This is Independence Hall, which is right across the street from the Liberty Bell, and that's where they drew up the Declaration of Independence, I think, and all those things, you know. Statue of George Washington out in front, and that's a very historic building. Now this is inside that building, and upstairs where the say the Continental Congress perhaps met, or those who worked to draw up the Declaration or whatever. Here's where the Vice President, I think, used to sit and, preside over the meetings there. That's the statue of George Washington. We didn't get much of George. We got a lot of her right there. And that is not Martha. That's not Martha Washington. But we didn't, I don't know, we left poor George out of the picture. This is a marker right there near the Liberty Bell that has been put up by the Jewish people in honor of religious liberty and freedom and whatnot. And so this is a marker that commemorates that. Betsy Ross, the one that designed the very first flag with the 13 stars and the 13 stripes. 7 of them are red and 6 of them are white. And her house is just, just like 2 or 3 blocks away. And so we went in her house and so forth. And so that's a marker indicating that. And this is where she's buried. She's buried right there. And to my surprise, she had been married 3 times. I didn't realize that. Of course, I'd never checked into that. I had no reason to ever check into anything like that. But Betsy Ross, the famed lady who made the first American flag. Now, we finally arrived at our motel in New Jersey late Saturday evening. Now, we stayed in New Jersey. That's where we stayed because it's cheaper to stay in New Jersey and just go through the Lincoln Tunnel and get into New York than it is to stay in New York. Much, much higher. Calvin Runyon said it cost about $200 more just to stay those nights in New York. Now, this is Sunday morning, and that's my Bible right there, the very Bible I preached out of this morning. And I asked the manager, I said, look, we'd like to have a room to have a Sunday school class in the morning. Well, he said it costs $150 to rent that room right there. And there was just a strange couple there. Who they were, I do not know. I have no idea where they were from or where they were going. But that lady said to that manager, this is for the Lord. And I said, yeah, this is for the Lord. And I think maybe that man chipped in, this is for the Lord. And he said, well, wait a minute. And he went and called somebody, and he said, okay, you can have it free of charge. So all of a sudden, they came down from $150 to free of charge. And we had Sunday school in there on Sunday morning, and I taught the regular Sunday school lesson that we would have had here. Just fixing to leave from the motel. This is Sunday morning to head over to the Brooklyn Tabernacle. And, of course, I think you'll recognize Jacob and Jonathan. And all right, now we're over in Brooklyn. That's a Jewish fellow, as you can see there, with a black hat and a black coat. And they have the long sideburns and all because of that verse in the Old Testament. But we got lost. We're trying to find the Brooklyn Tabernacle. And so we come up here, and there's a police car sitting off there, and I get off the bus, and I asked the policeman, I said, could you tell us, sir, how to get to the Brooklyn Tabernacle? Well, he's convinced, you know, this and that and the other. I got back on the bus, and I said to Mr. Perry, pull up here, maybe he'll lead us. So he pulled up there and opened the door, and I said to the policeman, I said, how about you leading us over to the Brooklyn Tabernacle? Well, he sort of was taken aback like that, you know, like he'd never had a request made by somebody to lead him over to the, you know, the church. So he said, well, okay, I'll take you to a certain part. And so he did. So here he's starting out, and we're following this police car, and we're being given an escort on Sunday morning over toward the Brooklyn Tabernacle. Pretty good, I'd say. You never...
Only a little Jew could get by with that.
You never know till you ask, do you? All right, now there's, you see these folks here, our people, and Virginia there, and this is outside the Brooklyn Tabernacle, which they bought a theater and renovated at the cost of millions of dollars to buy. It's right in downtown Brooklyn, and it can seat 4,000, and they have 3 services now at 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, and we went to the 12 o'clock noon service, which lasted for 2 hours. This is a mural that's inside. Now we're out in like in a hallway or a foyer. We haven't gotten on the main part of the auditorium, and this is a mural with quotations there from the Book of Psalms. All right, this is part of our group that's lined up. You know, we want to get ready to go in. This fellow had those from West Asheville Baptist, Mr. Ford Hendrick. He lost his wife back in February, I believe it was. And he had those shoes on that have the, you know, like you walk at night out on the road that have the reflectors so you can see them there. All right, this is inside the auditorium. This is about a good 30 minutes maybe before the next service is going to begin. And they just had a house full, and then they unload them, and then they load up again, you know, at the 12 o'clock, and that's the big choir area and so forth there. And these are our people sitting there. We all had good seats, but that's not too clear, but still you see them sitting there. This is after the service was over. Now, Mr. Jim Simbel, the pastor, did not preach. He was there. His wife leads the choir. She was there. She led the choir. And wait a minute, go back to the, you're going the wrong way. And, but the preacher that day at 12 o'clock was Dr. Joseph Stoll, who is president of Moody Bible Institute in Chicago. And he brought a great message. All right, now go to the next. I don't know what this is outside the tabernacle. I don't know what Margaret's trying to wash off of her hands, but...
I picked something up in the drugstore there that was baby had in her mouth. It's sticky.
Okay. Now this is over at the United Nations. This is outside the United Nations building. This is on Sunday afternoon. And this was given by the country of Italy, I think, to represent the world. And you see the world is broken, and we know, of course, it's a divided world that we live in today. This is inside there where you go in, and this is a souvenir place, and I bought a little souvenir. These are all the Secretary Generals of the United Nations, beginning with Mr. Youth Thought. I believe maybe he might have been the first one. And no, Trigby Lee, I believe. Trigby Lee might have been the first one. Got killed in a crash, I believe, and coming on down to the guy we have today. And that's better, thank you. And there's some of our folks standing there. All right, that's the United Nations building, as you see many times, no doubt, on the television and whatnot. And then here are the various flag poles out in front of it, but they didn't have flags flying. But you see how many there are. They're just coming out through there. And all those flag poles. Must be maybe one for all the various nations. I think you recognize Miss America. There she is, Miss America. All right, now this is Monday morning. Monday morning. We're at Times Square. We're standing outside Good Morning America Studios, 44th and Broadway, which is Times Square, right in the heart of New York City. There you see Mr. McKinney right there, and old Jacob there, and the Willets here. That's Ms. Willett there, and I believe that's you, Pat, right there. And so we're waiting outside there. They told me for us to be there at 6:30. I believe we got there at 6:15, and so we had to go through security and all to get on the inside. All right, that's inside, I believe, is it? Not too good a picture. All right, that's Tony Perkins, who gives the weather on Good Morning America. You see him morning by morning. Very friendly guy, very congenial guy, and all like that. And so there's Charlie Gibson, and there's Diane Sawyer, and that's Miss America, where they're back to us right there. She had just been crowned on Saturday night the 21st. This is Monday morning, September the 23rd. Diane Sawyer, Charlie Gibson, and the crowd on the inside there, okay? Now, let me say a word here that this is downstairs studio. Now, these two are upstairs when they first begin. They're off someplace else, upstairs or somewhere. Tony Perkins then was the first one to come down and started mixing and mingling with us and so forth and so on. And then he'd give weather reports from right here. And then later, of course, these others came down. Now, you see who has her.
Y'all still on power with pastor?
All right. Now, you see who that is. Look at that piece of chewing gum I got. Look at that. Piece of, look at that arm right there. Look at that arm. Look at that arm right there. Famous Diane Sawyer, and once was in Miss America pageant herself. And so there we were. Now we've got other still pictures, like of Charlie Gibson and me and so forth. And let me just, well, no, I'll wait on that. Okay. I think this may be, let's see, Monday we go down then to the Battery, and we catch the ferry to go over to the Statue of Liberty. And I think that this is maybe where we landed then, and going up to then to go out to the Statue of Liberty. There you recognize Miss Liberty, and you know that she was a gift from the country of France over 100 years ago. And I think you recognize those three panhandlers there and whatnot. And you know what Miss Liberty has? Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. And then it closes by saying, I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
I think the reason Bruce stayed with us so much, so Barbara would know.
Oh, well, we kept him out of trouble. We kept him out of trouble. All right. Yes, sir. Now, you cannot go up in the statue now. I have been up in the statue before, but now with tight security and all like that, you don't go up in the statue. Now, I think we've gone from there at the statue, then you have to ride a ferry then to come on over here to Ellis Island, and where that says Miss Ellis, I think, ferry or whatnot. And that's where the immigrants used to come in. They came in here by the thousands and millions from Germany and France and Holland and England and Spain and elsewhere to our shores. This is down there at the Battery after we came back across and fixing to get on the bus. And this is a little marker in honor of General William Booth of the Salvation Army. He founded the Salvation Army He was a Methodist preacher. William Booth was a Methodist preacher in London, England, and he got to preaching on the streets, and he founded the Salvation Army in London, England. He had landed and come over here, and that was a marker to commemorate that. You know this fella, you know that fella right there, and this fella right here, I think, and this, and I think you recognize those guys along there. Now, you know where we are? Yankee Stadium, down here where you buy your tickets. You go into Yankee Stadium on Monday night, and we're tired, we're weary, we're worn out. We've been up since about 4 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning, and now we're still on the go. Yankee Stadium. This is inside Yankee Stadium, sunset over Yankee Stadium. 31,000 people there that night. The Yankees played Tampa Bay, and the Yankees lost 3-1.
You know, Sister Red Bottoms a little girl.
Oh, that little lady right there?
Yeah, you
See how short the dress is?
Well, she sat opposite with the preacher box. You see her on the bus, and she's on there. And every bus we hit, that skirt was higher and higher. I thought I was going to have to give an extra blood pressure.
What do you think about that? Well, we did pick this woman up then on Tuesday morning, and she was our guide. She was paid $300 just to take us around that day, and she just carried us around and showed us this and that and that, a lot of things we weren't interested in. And but anyhow, here we are somewhere, and she's giving us a little talk. I think it's over where we were going into the, to see the Opera House and the Juilliard School of Music and all that kind of stuff. Now this is taken from the 86th floor of the Empire State Building, which is as high as you can go now, unless you have some kind of special party or something, then you can go up a little bit higher. But 86 floors, and that was the New York skyline. And again, this is looking at another direction from the 86th floor of the Empire State Building. Now this is about my worst disappointment on the whole trip, and if I could do it over again, I would not do this. This is Macy's department store, the world's largest store. The store that has the Christmas parade and Thanksgiving Day. The store that first had Santa Claus back many years ago and all like that. The store that has about 50-some windows to decorate. This is the downstairs restaurant. And I thought, well, I want to eat in a Macy's restaurant. But gracious sakes, the noise was horrendous. And, well, like they never got waited on, and when we finally got our meal, why, it's too late to go over to the store and all. So, and everybody sitting at the table, you get this one ticket, and then each person tries to figure out what he owes and all like that. You know, which we didn't care for. They wanted their ticket, Bruce and his wife. Margaret and I wanted our ticket. Butch and Sandra wanted her ticket and so forth, but they just put all on one ticket. Okay, that's Butch Marshall. He works at the shoe place out on Brevard Road, going out toward Brevard Mid-Creek Baptist Church on the right-hand side. His wife works over at Victoria's Secret. And I've been wanting her to share the secret with Margaret, but she hadn't told her what it was. But, so there they are. All right, now we're down to ground zero. Now we're down to ground zero. Now this is where the buildings fell. Now right there's the cross. See that cross? That cross actually, when those buildings came down, that cross actually, just came down and just like that, just in there. And so they got it erected right there. And the building stood right in this area, and you can see the crowds of people along here. And then we're going to go down this way to the side. And of course it's barricaded with wire fence that you have to take the pictures through the fence. So I'm taking a picture there, and there's that cross, as you can see. But I know you can see in your mind, those buildings and those airplanes flying into them, and those buildings just coming down, and the hundreds of people that lost their life. Now this building had just a street separating this building from the two that came down, and this has got netting over it, where the windows were broken out, I reckon, all that up, and all that's black netting covering that building there. Now there you got a good shot ground zero, you know, where they excavated and, I mean, moved all the debris and took weeks and months to do it and, you know, and clean it out and so forth, and that's the way it looks today. And another shot looking back over toward, this had a good saying right there, but I don't remember just exactly what it was, but it's a very good saying. All right, now we're in Washington, D.C. You know, recognize, of course, the Washington Monument and the reflecting pool and the Lincoln Memorial and one of Mr. Lincoln's good friends right there in the name of Pat Willett. He was a great president. I suppose if all of our presidents, if you were to take a ballot, I suppose Abraham Lincoln would probably be voted the #1 president of all the presidents maybe we've ever had. This is the Vietnam Memorial with all the names along there and all the crowds of people passing along trying to find the names of loved ones or friends. This is the memorial. This is the Korean. These are, of course, just images, statues of soldiers here. But that's the Korean War Memorial. This is Franklin Roosevelt's memorial. Hasn't been built too long. And you recognize Franklin, and there's Jacob in front of a waterfalls there, which was a part of the FDR. This is Union Station, and there's Bruce with us, and the four of us. Of course, I'm taking the picture. You see Brother Walter. Four of us shared that booth together and had a little bite to eat that evening. And then Brother Walter and his wife, and that's Jonathan background and Jacob there. There's 7 escalators in Union Station from the bottom to the top, and Brother Bruce and Jacob and I rode them all the way from the bottom to the top. All right, on the bus coming home, tired, weary folks, but glad to be heading toward home. Another shot on the other side. And right. All right, now here's our son Mark. Yeah, he's a North Carolina State Wolfpack fan. And so, you know, they beat Carolina yesterday. Now, here's the famous sign. If you'll just leave that right there. I'll show you this birthday sign and why it's backwards and all like that. Now, this is what got the attention on Good Morning America. Our son Mark was 48 years old on that day, September the 23rd. That was his birthday. He was left-handed, still is. But when he wrote his name, he would write upside down. Now, you know, a lot of my brother used to write this way. Left-handed people, a lot of them, you know, do their hand upside down. When he was a child and learning to write, he did his hand upside down and wrote his name backwards, just exactly like that. He made the M like that, the A like that, and the R like that, but he made the K in order. So he had said, well, have a sign, hold up a sign, for you know it's going to be my birthday. And I thought of the idea then of having the sign backwards, that it might get the attention of the people up there in the studio, and sure enough it did. All right, now there you see it says happy birthday backwards. There is Diane Sawyer's signature, and right there it is on it. This is Tony Perkins's, and he wrote a little message on here, and he said GMA and thanks for being on with us. And then this is Charlie Gibson. Now Charlie, when he autographed it, he wrote his name backwards. You see it right there. And then he signed it right, but he printed it backwards. C-H-A-R-L-E-S, Charles Gibson. And when I handed it to him, he comes writing backwards. Of course, that really surprised me. Now, that's what got the attention of the Good Morning America people. Why is that sign backwards? And, of course, we explained to them, and you'll see here in a jiffy. All right, so we're home at last. Margaret still got her tag on, and there we are. And, okay. Now, let's have the, just see this other right quickly. 7 o'clock, and we'll soon be ready to go home then. All right. Any questions anybody want to ask before we run this video clip right quickly? Any questions? Well, I told you I wasn't a professional photographer, and I also told you that there was no certain, you know, you just shoot the pictures and, you know, as you're going. And there are pictures I wish I had gotten that I didn't, but at least why we got those. And
may I say something before we show this little short thing here? There's only 2 times in my life that I have ever outshone this man. Now it was hard because I was clean as a crop at my house. My daddy made me feel like there wasn't nobody like me.
pretty blonde. Oh, man. Beautiful. So.
I out and showed him this. But I want you to know on this Good Morning America, I have to be holding the sign.
And they couldn't believe that, he thought he was.
Honey, the preacher.
They can't believe it out of Fruitland either, that I stood there and that, you know.
There and let you talk. But see, I have the sign, and Tony went by, and he said, I want to talk to you about the sign. Well, I reached out to grab him and tell him to talk to my husband, but he was gone. And the next thing I know, when he gets around, and then I sound like Grandma Moses.
All right. Okay, we'll see this, and then we're going to go home now, Jim. This won't take but just, yeah.
The whole time you talk about it, you tell him, calm down, because he gets talk.
Yeah, if
You
we,
know what I told him? I said, honey, if you ever go bad on me, and for some woman, I think I cut this off now.
yeah.
And I said, I'll kill you, and I'll go to prison and live with my men.
So if I don't get back from Tennessee, you know what happened. I mean, have it investigated. Say there's something mysterious. You know what, Winston Churchill and Lady Astor, having tea one day, and Lady Astor said to Churchill, if you were my husband, I'd put arsenic in your tea. And he said, if you were my wife, I'd drink it. No, you turn it on. You turn it on. I'm going to stand up here this time.
Is it on?
Well, I don't know about operating this thing. Pat may have to come down and help us out on this. All right, now this is just excerpts. Now, as I said, we have the whole 2-hour program, but we just, Margaret just tried to excerpt just a little bit, just so you can see what happened.
No, because I took some of that out on the first, but maybe it would be better to rewind it and then fast forward.
If somebody put it in this file, so it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this operation now.
Yeah, and then I'll fast forward it to the time, because I got a little bit.
Now, there's a good shot here of Brother McKinney. I mean, they got a good shot of him standing there holding that sign that says, Good Morning, Berea, Asheville, North Carolina. I believe that's what it said. And you can spot Brother Bruce in there. You can see him back in there. But
and to hear from the woman so much in the headline.
all right, that's that woman beating that little child. That was the lead story that morning. And that's the little twins that have been separated. That was all right. That was Perkins talking about the hurricane, and then he came down there with us and was, yeah. Yeah, those little twins. They were joined, as you know.
Yeah.
At the moment, the skin hasn't fully grown.
He said something about the lady with the sign back.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's at 7:30, I think. Yeah.
The skin will actually go back.
Well, ahead for us.
A new role for Candace Bergen.
Now listen, now, yeah.
This is a role, right? Or is she really going to be there?
This is a role. And also coming up, well, court has said that in some states the
Yeah.
high-tech teacher
Now it's there, but what? High tech is going to build in.
Okay, that'll be good. Let it go right there.
Say 50 children.
What happened?
I don't know. That's right where we had it to start with, and we didn't take it. Well, anyhow.
Hit play, Margaret.
Huh?
Hit play.
Hit play, Margaret.
I did.
Brother Pat, do you know anything about this? You're the guy that used the operating system.
Oh, yeah.
It's what now? Yeah, dyslexia. Margaret has dyslexia. Yeah, she'll read words backwards and whatever.
Well, anyhow, so.
Oh, come on. Now, we wanted to see that. This is a good part.
This was the part that talked on this page forward.
Does anybody know anything about what we need to do here? Come up and do it, please. All right, Pat, come on up here. And he knows about this. Do you need a light? Okay. I mean, this is a good part. You want to see this, and then we're going to be going.
Tell you right now, Johnny Taylor doesn't operate anything at home.
No, except vacuum cleaner, washing machine, dishwasher. No, I don't. I'm just saying that. Oh man, I really wish I could see this. This is the